From the Second Street Dreams Audio Network, this is Staccato, quick notes dotting the classical music landscape. I'm Judlyn Gibson. Just how much air escapes and how far does it go when one plays instruments like this? Or when a singer sings? Chasing after the answers was Ashok Veeraraghavan of the Rice University School of Engineering and Robert Yakovich, the university's dean of the Shepherd School of Music.
Early on, when the pandemic in its earliest stages, and we could see what impact it was going to have with basically suspending all kinds of all forms of live performance in whether it's symphony or even theater. I realized that we needed to have some sense of for musicians' sakes, what everybody was talking about, safe distancing, but we didn't know what that really meant for musicians, and especially musicians whose instruments or singers expel more air than people just in normal speaking.
Yakovich and Veeraraghavan joined with the Houston Symphony and the Houston Grand Opera to study airflow of wind and brass instruments and singers. To do so, they had to put a 21st century spin on some 100-year-old technology.
We realized that there is a really old imaging technique called Schlerian imaging that originally was developed to study airflows in very challenging things like aircraft, ballistic airflow, bullet airflow around really challenging circumstances that can be adapted to image the airflow when we speak as well. And so that's the technology we are using. It's called Schlerian imaging. Bob, obviously, he's the dean of the music school, and he's very interested in how musical performance venues can restart their operation in this new pandemic-stricken world.
Turns out being 6 feet apart isn't sufficient. Their research indicates that there isn't one way to safely engineer the kind of live performances we had before the pandemic. One recommendation for music venues is to ensure ventilation systems meet or exceed federal guidelines of 6-room air exchanges per hour or more, if possible. That would minimize risk to both the performers and the audience.
We will be able to provide some information that will enable organizations to go back into some mode of in-person performance. And in the case of professional organizations, enable them to maybe begin to generate again some bit of a revenue stream to help them survive and keep them from going off the cliff into bankruptcy. And so I think we will be able to help with that. It's a small step, but an incredibly important one.
There are links to more recommendations on the Rice University study of exhaled aerosols on the Staccato page at kmfa.org. That's Staccato. I'm Judlyn Gibson on the Second Street Dreams Audio Network.